Most people read the headlines. I read the small print. This is Footnotes, where I find the biggest stories in the smallest detail. He was a man who spent his life peering through a microscope, searching for the invisible enemies of mankind. But what he discovered wasn't just a bacteria. It was a truth about the human mind that the world wasn't quite ready to hear. Ludwig Fleck was a doctor, a microbiologist, and a son of Poland. In the 1930s, while the rest of the world was watching the rise of a certain corporal in Germany, Dr. Fleck was busy in a laboratory, wondering why two scientists looking at the exact same slide could see two completely different things. He called it the thought style. He realized that we don't just see with our eyes, we see with our expectations, our culture, our peers. It was a brilliant, quiet observation, but the world was about to get very loud and very dark. When the Nazi shadow stretched across Poland, Dr. Fleck found himself stripped of his laboratory and shoved into the Lwów ghetto. The so-called master race had a problem, you see. They were terrified of typhus, a disease they associated with those they deemed inferior. The irony was as thick as the smoke over Europe. The Nazis needed Fleck. They needed his expertise to create a vaccine to protect their own soldiers, so they moved him from the ghetto to the Buchenwald concentration camp. Now imagine the scene. A man imprisoned by a regime that claims science proves his inferiority, taxed with using that very science to save his captors. Inside Block 50 at Buchenwald, Dr. Fleck and a group of fellow prisoner scientists were ordered to produce a typhus vaccine. The SS doctors hovered, demanding results. And results they got. Vats of vaccine were produced. Records were kept. Shipments were sent to the front lines. To the Nazi overseers, the inferior doctor was performing like a well-oiled machine. But here's the part of the slide the SS failed to focus on. Dr. Fleck hadn't forgot his thought style. He knew that if you tell people what they want to see, they'll usually believe it. He and his team developed two versions of the vaccine. The dummy version, a completely useless, harmless, water-based serum. This is what was sent to the German Wehrmacht. The real version? It was produced in tiny secret quantities, smuggled through the camp to save the lives of the prisoners. For years, under the very noses of the most murderous regime in history, Ludwig Fleck ran a clandestine pharmaceutical factory. He used the Nazis' own arrogance as a blindfold. They saw a submissive worker. He saw a way to fight back without firing a single bullet. When the camps were finally liberated, Dr. Fleck emerged not just a survivor, but a man who had turned the science of his oppressors into a weapon of mercy. He went on to become a titan in the philosophy of science. He taught us that facts are often just the things we've agreed to believe together, and that the most dangerous thing a person can possess is a mind that refuses to look at different perspectives. He survived the typhus, he survived the SS, and he survived the silence of history for far too long. Because while the Nazis were trying to build a 1,000-year Reich, Ludwig Fleck was busy saving the lives with a useless vaccine and a very useful truth. I'm Brenda, and some footnotes should never stay buried.